Energy healing modality, grounding and releasing level 1. Now that you have an understanding of what it is to ground, why we're doing the work we're doing, and how things are starting to flow, because you're beginning to get an awareness that there's energy, and everything has energy. Every living organism is made up of energy, and sometimes we have to be able to help facilitate it and to help be able to move forward and become that conduit. We have to be able to make an escape route for the work that we're doing, that as we're working for the highest good and as we're really focusing and then we're really doing the work, because remember, we're not just going in and waking up energy and saying, hi, you can go ahead and do something now. We're going in and grabbing it. We're knocking them out of the bed. We're telling them, we got to get going. We got to make this happen. But with the focus of for the highest good, and setting the intention and setting the energies to do that exactly, which is going to be for the highest good, as we function as the conduit that gives that body the right, that gives that animal the right, that gives the vegetation what it needs. You know, it's like the plant. They know how to take in and how to release, how to do what they need to do in order to keep going and to keep growing and to keep maturing and produce the fruits of the labor and that type of thing. So when we work as a conduit, that's what we're doing, is we're kind of like being that rooting system with the plant. And it's like if you look at electricity, what is the purpose of the ground wire? The ground wire dismisses anything extra. If it's extra and it's not serving the higher good, if it's not serving the purpose, if it's an old memory, if it's an old hurt, if it's an old trauma, if it's old patterns, all of those type of things, we can facilitate as the conduit to let it go, or to bring in what's needed to help it to grow and to help it mature and become. Visualizing. You can do visualization as a way to release. You can let it ground out through your feet. You can do it through your breath. You can do it through your hands, in one hand, out through the other. Whatever method works for you to function as that conduit, to really allow yourself to do, to process, and to be. Now, there's things that are going to happen when this starts to go on. Sometimes it can be embarrassing. Sometimes we can feel like, oh my gosh, why am I so tired? Why am I yawning? I'm not tired at all. I'm full of energy and pep, but for some reason I'm just, oh, I can't quit yawning or sneezing, a choo, 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 coughing, anything like that. Those are ways that we are serving as the facilitator, and we're actually letting go for the client. We're actually, because remember, we walked through the door, we closed the door, we're on the outside. We're now their energy. We're now their release. We're now their conduit that's allowing them to have that grounding and releasing. And it can happen. You can yawn, you can hiccup, you can burp, you can sneeze, you can cough, you can cry, you could laugh. You could even have to say, excuse me for a second, I gotta go to the bathroom. Whatever was really pissing you off, I gotta let it go for you. That's the way that it can work. That's the way that it can happen. And bodily things happen, and it's normal and it's natural. A lot of times a client will actually have these themselves. They're somatic releases. They'll let go of things, no real reason or understanding why. They may be doing like body work and all of a sudden they start crying when a certain muscle has been released or relaxed. It's the same type of thing. When you're doing the energy type of work, you may notice that an animal just lays down and goes to sleep, or the vegetation begins to grow and to flourish. It's a normal process. It's something that will happen. You can do it. Your client can do it. You both can do it. And it'll actually help them. It gives them more of a concrete something tangible. Wow, I was just yawning and yawning and yawning, and here she wasn't even tired, but I was just so exhausted. It gives them a tangible connection to the work that's going on. Another thing that you want to really look for when you start doing the scanning, when you really start connecting with the energy, and you watch an animal, if they come up to you, they'll place their body part that needs work. They'll place themselves right with you where they need it, because they recognize their own blocks. Or you'll look at a plant and you'll see the plant has drooping over in one spot. You know where it needs the work. You know where there's a block. There's not a good flow of circulation or nutrients getting to it. So what you do, the same thing with your client. You're going to look at that body. You're going to look at that person, and where do I feel a block? Did I notice something how they were walking? Did I notice how they were sitting? Those are good trigger signs for you to look for. Is it something that I feel energetically, that like I'm moving down their bodies and bam, I hit a brick wall and I can't move forward until I actually do the work that's there? And then that's when we start the etheric surgery. That's when we go in and we start plugging in to that highest good energy that says what is no longer serving your higher good, we are allowing it to be released and grounded, and it dissipates into the ethers, and it is no longer connected with and or part of this client and this being.